their independence from Great Britain. Here we have our lovely panelists for today. We also have some public relations agents who are going to hang out and answer any questions that we might have. We also have an audience full of investigative reporters ready to take notes and write some wonderful articles about what these Patriots and Loyalists have to say about independence. They'll also be answering or asking some tough questions of our panelists at the end of the debate. So for the purpose of today, we want to make sure that we introduce each of our panelists so we understand who we're talking to. Let's begin.
Jonathan Archer is a loyalist. He is a religious leader and a purist. One of his accomplishments is his sermons spread his loyalist beliefs very quickly around town. He believes colonists could not rule themselves and thinks they should obey Great Britain. Jonathan thinks the king's power came from God, and if he disobeyed the king, it was like disobeying God.
Welcome, Jonathan Boucher. Next, we have Lord Dunmore.
Lord Dunmore is a fierce loyalist and a royal governor of Virginia. He was a wealthy man even before being elected into the British Parliament. Lord Dunmore thinks that since Great Britain created the colonies and continues to protect them, therefore he feels that Great Britain has the right to rule them and make them pay taxes. He also argued that fighting for independence would hurt the economy and make many colonists poor. He strongly believes that the colonist has a duty to pay British laws. He claims that any colonist who would not fight for the king was labeled as a traitor.
Thank you so much, and Lord Dunmore, welcome today. Next, we have Thomas Hutchinson.
Thomas Hutchinson, businessman, royal governor of Massachusetts, and a loyalist to Great Britain, one who enforced British laws and made sure everyone was following the king's rules. He believed the colonists could govern themselves without British enforcement. As a result, he wrote letters to the king explaining all the awful things the colonists had done. He was a fierce leader. He never showed any emotions. Even though he was a very successful man, he never smiled or wore fancy clothes. This is Thomas Hutchinson and his opinion about independence.
All right, thank you very much, Thomas, and welcome to the panel today. All right, next we have, starting with our first Patriot, we have Samuel Adams.
Introducing Samuel Adams, writer, leading patriot, and politician. His belief is that the colonists should fight for independence to govern themselves. He is a dedicated patriot with a strong passion for independence. He is completely devoted to politics and uses his skills to benefit the colonies in their fight for independence. His enemies call him a troublemaker, while his colleagues call him a leader.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and welcome, Mr. Adams, to today's panel. Next, we have Mr. Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin sided firmly with the Patriots, but at first he did not favor independence and hoped that Great Britain would treat the colonies more fairly. When that did not happen, he sided with the Patriots, and he started living in Philadelphia, the colony of Pennsylvania, and there he started to help by helping start a library, a college, and a hospital. He also helped write most of the Declaration of Independence. He also convinced King George II to undo the Stamp Act.
Excellent work, and welcome, Mr. Franklin. And finally, we have the only lady joining us on the panel today. This is Mrs. Mercy Otis Warren.
The one, the only Mercy Otis Warren. Mercy Otis Warren, she is a writer and a poet. During her time in the colony, she writes plays and poems showing the pain colonists were facing from Great Britain. She fights for the colonies. She thinks the taxes are unfair.
Welcome, Mrs. Mercy Otis Warren. All right, audience, can we give a round of applause for all of our panelists today? Thank you. Now we'd like to hear from each of our panelists to start our debate so that we can understand their position on independence. So if we can pass the microphone back down, we're going to start with the Loyalists here to Jonathan Boucher, please. Mr. Boucher, Remember today that we are debating the question, should the American colonies declare independence from Great Britain? Can you tell us what you think about that?
I think the colonies should not declare independence from Great Britain. The colonists were made by Great Britain. Well, not exactly made, but we established the colonies, meaning we can control them, and they should not declare independence. The king was chosen by God, and God only. Therefore, disobeying the God and declaring independence is like not following the God's rules.
Right. Audience, you can feel free in between our Loyalist presentations. If you agree, you can feel free to clap. All right. Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Can you pass the microphone to Mr. Dunmore, please? I'm sorry, Lord Dunmore. So, Lord Dunmore, how do you feel about the question, should the American colonies declare independence from Great Britain?
I think they should not declare independence. I think it would end in war or conflict, and that would hurt the economy and leave many colonists poor.
Thank you, Mr. Dunmore. Audience? Okay. Mr. Thomas Hutchinson, what do you think about the question, should the American colonies declare independence from Great Britain?
No, because the colonists have proven they cannot govern themselves. They've attacked many of the precious places or houses that the king owns, and if they keep attacking, they just keep proving themselves that they cannot govern their own self.
Good point, Mr. Hutchinson. Thank you so much. All right, thank you. Some love from our Loyalists over here. All right, moving on to our Patriots. Mr. Sam Adams, what do you think about the question, should the American colonies declare independence from Great Britain?
I believe the colonies should declare independence because we've been here long enough to know how to govern ourselves, and we surely know how to better govern ourselves than people across the ocean.
Excellent argument, Mr. Adams. Oh, our audience likes that one. All right. Mr. Benjamin Franklin, what do you think about the question? Should the American colonies declare independence from Great Britain?
I think that the colonies should declare independence from Great Britain because Great Britain is making unfair laws. And like Mr. Hutchinson said, that we were starting fights and all that. But if they had not made unfair laws, then we wouldn't have gotten in fights. And also, I believe that we can govern ourselves.
Excellent points, Mr. Franklin. And finally, Mrs. Otis Warren, can you share your thoughts with us about the question, should the American colonies declare independence from Great Britain?
Yes, because Great Britain is charging us with unfair taxes, and they expect us to pay it when they are treating us like children.
Excellent. Okay. Mr. McLaughlin, can I have you as a public relations agent please take the microphone to people as they'd like to speak? Yes. You can come in the front, please. All right. So let's open up the panel for debate. Would anyone on the panel like to say anything?
I guess I would like to.
All right, Mr. Benjamin Franklin, what would you like to say to our Loyalists?
Loyalists, I don't necessarily get why you don't think that the colonists can govern themselves. Because before all of Great Britain's bad laws and all that, they were doing perfectly fine until you guys decided to just put all these laws on us, and now that's why you guys think that we can't govern ourselves, but before we were perfectly fine. So, what do you think?
Aiden. Maddie wants... Maddie.
If you weren't fighting the French and Indian War for so long, we wouldn't be needing to, Great Britain wouldn't be needing to tax us so much.
No other loyalist has anything to say about that? Mr. Hutchinson, did you have something to say?
Yeah, here. I back her up on that. I back him up on that. Because you shouldn't expect to have the same rules here in New Britain as they do in Britain.
Okay. Mr. Franklin.
Well, you guys said that if we hadn't done the French and Indian War, but you guys are the ones that fought in the French and Indian War, so why should we be punished for all the money that you spent on the French and Indian War? So why should we be punished if we didn't do anything? Where's the...
You guys were the ones who were fighting the Native American Indians in the first place.
Anyone have anything to say over here? No? Okay, well, let's give a big round of applause to our debaters. All right, any investigative reporters in the audience that would like to ask a tough question of any of our debaters? All right, Josiah.
This question is for Lord or Thomas Hutchinson. You say we attacked the houses and stuff, but yet you massacred the colonies. And
Well, when you broke
It's okay, honey.
Well, when you broke into my house and broke many of my valued possessions and furniture, you show right there in that act you are not responsible enough to break free from Britain or become your own country.
Mm-hmm.
so you're saying that your furniture and your items are more important than your own colonists.
Oh, gosh. I just want to enforce the British laws to you colonists.
Thank you. That was a tough question. Any other investigative reporters out there with some tough questions for our panel members? Tilly?
Thomas Hutchinson, how did you feel after the Patriots printed letters that you wrote to the British government?
I write some of my own letters to the king about how you guys misbehave and break the laws that we put on you.
Okay. Any questions for our patriots out there? Ty?
This question is for Mercy Otis Warren. Why are you making these poems and plays that could get you thrown in jail? I mean, you could spend the rest of your life in jail.
I want to stand up for what I believe in, so I support that in the plays and poems I write.
Again, just you could spend the rest of your life in jail. I don't see how you want to do that.
Okay. Do we have any other questions out there from investigative reporters? Marina?
This is for Mercy Otis Warren. How did you learn to believe in independence?
I was born in Massachusetts, which was led by a loyalist.
stand up for what I believe in. I moved to this